If you love your Axe FX3, but you want to be able to edit it from a tablet, you need Fracpad, which I'm running on my Axe FX3. Essentially, all I'm doing is I have a USB on-the-go cable that I'm connecting to the main USB port of my Axe FX3. Now, if you are more interested in using this as a Bluetooth setup, what you can do is get a MIDI to Bluetooth converter, put it in your rack with your Axe FX3, and then via Bluetooth, connect to Fracpad. So let's get into what Fracpad does. I'll just zoom in a little bit, hopefully, so that you can see this. One of the unpleasant things about Australia running 50 hertz power is that you can see there's some flickering going on there from the lights and the frame rate. So I apologize about that. But essentially, Fracpad lets you edit your presets, obviously from your tablet. So you've got this really, really nice touch screen. And as you can see, if I just want to edit a block, say like the amp block, I simply just have to touch it. And it's going to open up with all the parameters which are arranged into pages. So if I wanted to look at all the different EQs and preamp controls, I've got all of this right at my fingertips, and then I can tweak them out. Say I wanted to do this, bring the treble down. It's pretty easy. And there is every parameter that is on your Axe FX3 sitting here in Fracpad. So that's a very basic, very, very basic functionality that it has. If I go into the settings over here in the top right, you can see that I can pretty much customize every element of this. If I want to change the type of knobs that I'm using, it will bring up a whole menu here of different knobs that I can use. Whether it's like Fender style knobs, Mesa style knobs, Marshall style knobs. If I just don't want any sort of graphics on there, I can do that as well. In the options, we have a bunch of different startup options there. We can use the real names of the amps rather than just the models, which is pretty handy. There's a realistic user interface for the amps, again, which is really handy. There is just so much going on here. You can use this total sync function, which I'm going to turn on, which will mean that when I change parameters on my Axe FX3, it will be reflected in Fracpad. I can change stuff like the size of the knobs, the toolbar height, the grid block size, all this kind of stuff. If I decrease the size of the blocks in the grid, and I go back to the grid, you can see that now I can see more of the grid. That's pretty handy, although that is way too small for this application. So let's just say we wanted, where was that control? Here we go, grid block size. I can increase that. I could make it really big if I wanted to, or really small. Totally customizable, which is super cool. So they are some of the really, really basic things that Fracpad does. And then you've also got, if you hit the home menu, you can see you've got edit mode. There's a 2D touch mode, which is really cool. There's a big preset mode, which looks like this. As you can see all the parameters that are in your preset. And say I wanted to go in and tweak, I don't know, say the plex delay in this preset. I just long press it, and it will open up. And I don't have plex delay in that preset, so that's fine. If I wanted to do, say, the compressor, which would probably be a better thing to do, because it's in the preset. Now I'm on my compressor menu, and say I wanted to change the threshold, I can just pull it down. And again, if you want more of a knob style thing, you can use knobs, or you can use sliders. So, God, this is a cool thing. I'm not running direct at the moment. All you are going to hear is the sound of my monitors being picked up by this microphone, but I'll give you an idea of just how easy and quick it is to edit stuff. Say we wanted to edit the amp block. I'm playing a Strat, by the way, as well. Say I just want to increase the drive. I can do it like this. And this slider mode I find super, super handy. I apologize about the picture quality at the moment. Let me try and fix that a little bit. There we go, that looks better. And yeah, essentially, that's the editing suite there. If you've seen my other video on Fracpad for use with the AX8 or the Axe FX2, it's essentially doing the same thing. There's a couple of features which I didn't use on that I should probably cover here, which is pretty awesome. So if you go home in Fracpad, you can go to performance mode. Oh, by the way, your metronome's right here as well. So on and off, really easy to access. If I go to performance mode, I can have a set list of all the songs that I have. Let me just zoom in on that for you guys. You can see here I've got the Ragdoll set list. I've organized them in terms of which songs come where in the set. I can set the default scene. There's some songs, as you can see, most of the songs in our set start on scene 1. There is a song that starts on scene 2. I can have all the individual tempos programmed in because I use rhythmic delay quite a lot. That's really, really handy. I can have CC numbers and values. It's so, so cool. So if I wanted to sort of play through some stuff, I would just have to go and press this button here. It's going to come up with the song. So this is my first preset. So as you can see there, I could cycle through all the songs. It's going to come up with the tempo for any of my rhythmic delays and the default scene. If I was doing a cover gig, I could have, say I'm doing 30 songs in a night. I could have a different preset for every song with the starting scenes and the tempos programmed in, which is something that I'm going to set up and I'm going to use with this, which is so, so, so handy. As I said, for the average Ragdoll gig, I use one preset and a couple of scenes. So I'm vastly underutilizing the potential of performance mode there. We can go back out of it, and as you can see now, I'm in the grid of the new presets. So I'm just trying to think if there's any other new things. The tuner is pretty cool. As you can see, if I want to tune my guitar, and it looks great, and very easily you can select the input between any of the 4 inputs on the Axe FX3. So again, just like really well thought out, user-friendly stuff that you want. It's not a case of like, this is an app that happens to be able to let you edit your Axe FX3 from there. It's actually a really, really well thought out app that's super usable. A couple of other things, if I go into, say, a drive block and I want to tweak the amount of drive, like I just turn it up like so, and then I play it, that block's not actually engaged at the moment, so that's not a very good example. Let's try the amp. Say I tweak the amp out, like I'm just going to change a bunch of values. And I go, you know what? I don't like that at all. I can just press revert, and it will take me back to the way my preset was before. All the values reset. How cool is that? You can add blocks, you can do all your main editing from here. So if your Axe FX3 is sitting in a rack and you don't want to carry around a laptop or you don't want to edit from the front panel, Fracpad 3 lets you do all that kind of stuff. There's also a lot of the functionality from Fractal included, like, importing stuff. And I'm not going to get into that because that's way beyond the scope of this video, which is just as an intro, but I will try to put together a video at some point in the future. So hopefully that gives you an idea of what Fracpad can and can't do for your Axe FX3 setup. It's a pretty amazing app considering it was sort of done single-handedly by one guy. Alex, you're a legend. I love this app. I'm going to use it all the time now. You can find out more details in the link in the video description if you want to go and grab Fracpad. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you around.